So with this whole school at home kind of thing going on, I know that our routines can be thrown off a little bit, and so I wanted to share a little bit about what my routine's been like here in quarantine, and it's really broken down into 3 categories.
I love you.
That's really sweet.
What's the weather going to be today?
There's a freeze warning in effect until Wednesday.
I was saying, check it out. Dr. Rahim commented on my post. See?
Oh, where is it? Rahim.
Oh, there you go.
Ah! Yay!
So last night I was watching the Jordan documentary, The Last Dance. Absolutely incredible, by the way. Just absolutely incredible. You know, some of you may know I'm a huge Kobe fan, huge Kobe Bryant fan. After watching that, I have a huge new respect for Jordan. I mean, Jordan was the greatest. He was the ultimate GOAT. And remember, there's one part of the documentary where Jordan got hurt in one of the seasons. He fractured his foot. I believe it was a navicular fracture. And the thing about navicular fractures, or any fracture of the foot, with the bones in the foot, they take a lot longer to heal, because it's not like one of your long bones in like your leg or your arm where you have a lot of blood supply where it can heal really quickly. In the foot, there's not as much blood supply. Also, you're putting so much, that's your weight-bearing bones. I mean, it's your foot. And so a lot of stress they're under, and so they take a lot longer to heal. So Jordan, of course, is out playing on it and everything. And during that season, there were rumors going around that the Bulls were trying to tank the season so they could get a lottery pick. And there was one game in particular where if they won this game, they were going to get in the playoffs. And Jordan was back playing, but because he was still healing from his foot injury, they put a time constraint on how much he could play. And so, believe there was like, of course, Jordan's the best player on the team. And there's like, it gets down to the wire. The game's like tied, and there's a few seconds left on the clock. And they benched Jordan because he reached his time limit, and they wouldn't let him go back in, probably because they're trying to tank the season, right? And the GM told the head coach that he would fire him if he put Jordan back in the game. So Jordan's obviously noticeably pissed off, and he's trying to convince the coach to let him back in. And the coach is like, "Sorry, Jordan, can't let you in, or else they're going to fire me." And so they ended up winning the game, but Jordan never forgave the Bulls for that, and I don't blame him. And it made me think, because Jordan, the only thing he cared about was winning. Far over fame or money, he cared about the ultimate goal of winning, and winning a championship, which is why he was so angry. And remember, he went down saying, like, winning is the ultimate goal of any sport, particularly in basketball. And if you take winning out of the essence, you really take the essence out of the sport. And it made me think, like, you know, in sports or in basketball, the winning objective is very easy. It's to win championships. But it made me think, like, what does it mean to win in chiropractic? What does it mean to win in chiropractic? And I don't really have an exact answer for that. I don't really know. To me, what first comes to mind is, well, there's something like 10% of the population's under chiropractic at a given time. It makes you think, like, what would it look like if there were 20 or 30% of the population, or 50, 51% of the population under chiropractic care? Can you imagine if more people are under chiropractic care than not? We all know that pretty much everyone needs chiropractic care. You're going to be far better off if you are under chiropractic care and you have a healthier spine. It makes me think, if more people than not had healthier spines and their nervous systems were functioning optimally, do you think that they would be healthier and live a better life? Do you think that we'd have a better society? Think life will be better? Makes you think.
Mom, what does it mean to win in chiropractic?
To win?
Yeah, to win.
Well, I think it means to be healed naturally and have your spine and everything works around that. For example, with my hip and my knee pain, I could have just kept putting that arthritis rub stuff on it and that been end of it, but I knew there's something behind it that was really causing the problem.
Yep.
So here my hip was slightly out and adjusted it back in. Now I'll do exercises to keep my muscles strong.
Yeah.
That's why it's important that we exercise, keep moving, keep doing strength training, and regular chiropractic care.
So with this whole school at home kind of thing going on, I know that our routines can be thrown off a little bit, and so I wanted to share a little bit about what my routine's been like here in quarantine. And it's really broken down into 3 categories: my class schedule, the assignments, and my studying. So in terms of classes, most of the professors have already uploaded the lectures for each week. for us to just go and study at our own leisure. And that last word, leisure, is a lot of students' worst enemy, the word leisure, because it seems like whenever we have any leisure time, we procrastinate and we're not productive. And now that we're here in quarantine, it's kind of like everything is up to us whenever we want to do them. And that can be very hard for some people, including myself. And so what I've really tried to do with my class schedule is to go through the lectures during my regular class time. So I already scheduled my calendar for this quarter as if I was already going to be on campus, and for each class during the regular class time, I will go through and listen into this already pre-made up lectures. Now, to keep track of all my assignments, I use the app Todoist. I've talked about Todoist a lot, and I'm using it. I realize I have to rely on it more now. Is I have all my due dates for all my assignments on there. So that way I don't have to think about what needs to get done each day. It's already pre-programmed. Anything with a due date attached to it, I will put it on that Todoist app. So that way each day, each week, I can just look at what needs to get done today, and I make sure that I'm checking everything off as I'm going through, so don't forget any assignments. So now in terms of how I actually study, it's a little bit more complex than usually. And so the teachers, they pre-record and upload these lectures online for us to access for each week. And they come in the files that they give to us. There's a PowerPoint with a voiceover audio for the lecture of the professor lecturing the material. So what I do is I download that, and I can strip the audio from the voiceover. And what's good about that is I can now listen to that audio. I can change the speed of the audio. And so what I've done is I will listen to that audio at twice the speed. So I'll ramp it up to 2x speed, so that way I can get through it a lot faster. And I can still listen to them speaking, but I can get through it, because usually they lecture slow. And so I play that at 2x speed while I'm going through the PowerPoint for the first time. And so it goes by really fast. Most lectures maybe, if it's a 2-hour class, the lecture might only be like 40 minutes. Because they're stripping all the time from asking questions, they're getting set up, and getting sidetracked with stories. It's just the straight material that we need, so the lectures are a lot quicker. So I can get through it in like 20 minutes for the first time. Then the second time, I won't listen to the audio, because I feel a good grasp of the material just from listening to it through the first time. The second time I go through with it my PowerPoint. So now I just have the PowerPoint, no lecture or audio, and I'm going through it myself, and I'm highlighting the key terms, the key things. Usually now that might take another 20 minutes. So I'm about 40 minutes in right now of my 2-hour block that I have for this class. And now the third time I go through this right in order, so boom, 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 no break. And I will jot down all my notes. And then under each highlighted thing, each highlighted topic that I wrote down on my notes, I will briefly, in my own words, I learned this from the Concord Way of Study, you briefly write down your own words, what that concept means to you, to really prove your understanding of it. And you use your own words for that. And so that's what I have for the notes. And then that's pretty much it. And afterwards, I felt that I have a really good grasp and understanding of the concepts. I can explain it in my own words. I have all the main points highlighted and written out in my notes. And then I move on to the next class. And that's kind of how I do it. Usually I have like 3 or 4 classes a day. And so I just bang my classes out. And usually I'm done by like 1 p.m. And I can use the rest of the day just to kind of chill. And so that's during the week. And then on Friday, if you look at my calendar, I got this big gap on Friday afternoon. As I use that to kind of do my weekly review for all my classes. And so I would just get out my notes for each of the classes that I took notes on that week of the main highlights with the concepts in my own words. And I just read through them again. I just read through it and make sure that I still understand it the same way that I understood it then during the lecture. Because usually there's a little bit of a gap, like it makes really good sense to you one day, then you put it down and revisit it like 3 days later and it doesn't make any sense to you at all. So if that's the case and I feel confused on something, I'll go back through the lecture and reread it, and then usually, now I understand what I was saying there, and maybe I'll change it or something. And that's pretty much it. That's how I've been really tackling each week. And then obviously, we're 3 weeks in the class right now, and so I'll have exams coming up in 2-3 weeks, and I'm assuming that'll still be online, and I'll study how I usually study for my regular exams, except it'll just be online. That's the only difference. And that's how I've been tackling my classes. I'm curious to know how you guys have been handling classes for those that are taking classes online, and kind of what your scenario is. How do they have it set up for the school? Are they doing online live lectures? Are they uploading the lectures like they're doing here at my school? I'm just curious, how well is it going for you guys and how you guys are navigating these times. So if you have any good tips, put those in the comments below.
there, right there, right there.
So I think it is more crucial now than probably ever, since I'm not on campus and I'm not in clinic right now or at home, to be practicing as much as I can. So I usually practice every day, at least as much as I can on friends or family members, or just even practicing on my own, doing whatever I can just to refine my adjusting skills. This thing right here, it is a speeder board that's supposed to mimic the cervical chair. So for the neck adjustments, really like this thing because it can really practice your stabilization and your speed. So you can just practice with that, and then it automatically clicks, so I can fire it out like that. If you don't have one of these cool little gadgets, what you can do is just even do thrusts in the air, so you can even practice cervical chairs, like a stabilization setup contact like that, and just practice your speeds. So practice thrusts like that. It can do it with really all the adjustments, and I think the biggest thing whenever you're learning how to adjust, no matter what technique or no matter what thing you're doing, is to practice that muscle memory, to practice the muscles firing and engaging. And so I think it's important to do exercises and literally to design your entire exercise program designed to build that speed. People think that adjusting is all about strength to move bones. That's not the truth. The truth is it's all about proper technique, your analysis, and the speed of your thrust. So make sure you're practicing that.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna do Bloody Mary Saturday morning.
Nice.
All right. Yeah.
So I guess we're doing Bloody Marys for my birthday. You know, doing dips, 45 pounds, no big deal. I got a new workout crib. So we got the little home gym quarantine setup going on here. We got the pull-up bar, the dips, the incline bench, the squat rack. Got the weights, the mirror. The best part, we got a little driving range. We're about $150 out from the green. Got a little 6-iron. Get this on the green for a birdie. Little chip shot here. On the green! Alright you guys, I think that's gonna do it for this one. It's getting pretty late here, so I still gotta make my bed, and then I'm going to get some much needed sleep. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. If you did, it will mean so much to me if you will give this video a like. And even if you didn't like this video, at least give me a like for my birthday, as this is my last night as a 23-year-old. Tomorrow I turn 24, and it's a new year and a new me. No, just kidding. Reality is it's just another day, same old me. You know, it's pretty cool looking back and seeing at what I accomplished the last year, but the reality is I got a lot more that I got to do. And so it's just another day as we continue to move forward on this journey together. All right. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.